Hello, I'm Jackie Hudkins, here together with my business partner, attorney Candace O'Neill, and we'd like to discuss emerging trends in real estate. We've seen Airbnb used on an increasing scale in the real estate marketplace. Often buyers are pursuing properties that they'd like to use for themselves. It might be a ski house, it might be a lake house, and maybe they'll be using the property a few weeks each season for a vacation or second home. But the remainder of the year, they would like to offer the property on the market for short-term rentals. So there are various sites like Airbnb, VRBO, HomeSwap, and if they're pursuing one of these purchases in cash, there are more flexibilities. Whereas if lender financing, mortgage financing is involved, it's very important to check in with the lender to make sure that they don't have any prohibitions on the short-term rentals, and also that the title is vested appropriately. So for example, if someone wants to hold title in an LLC for that liability protection that Candace mentioned, they may have to pursue commercial mortgage financing. Some local lenders, though, on the community level are making exceptions if it really is a residential property and the family is going to use the property as their second home and just maybe rent it out on an occasional basis. They might, in fact, allow residential financing through the conventional mortgage department, but it's important to check with your local lender on that piece.
I agree, and I think the scenarios similar to what you just described, where that type of lender exception might come into play, would be your married couple that has the ski condo that wants to recoup, some of their costs in the off season. Less than 4 units typically required, and as you said, periodic investment as opposed to this is someone who it's their primary source of income.
Right. The other important piece is to pursue some upfront due diligence before you purchase. So if you're a buyer and you're out there looking for a property and you know it's your intention to list it out for short-term rental, you want to make sure that there are no prohibitions in the municipality on the town level restricting or putting any limitations on these short-term rentals. I know the city of Boston has put some very serious limitations on this type of rental, so you've got to make sure that's not in place. If it's a condominium, you've got to make sure you read through the condo bylaws. You can have an attorney help you with that. The condominium rules and regulations are not quite enough. I recommend that you also look at the recent 1-year history of meeting minutes, because that's where you'll see what the board is talking about at their meetings. Are they ready to take a vote? Do they want to put a restriction in place that would prohibit short-term rentals? So that's really important. So my recommendation is to contact your local attorney and lender and speak with those professionals first before you pursue your purchase, just to make sure that once you've identified that property and you have your heart set on it, that you can actually fulfill the contract.
I would agree with that. I think we see all too often where someone is already under a contract on a property and then decides they want to use the LLC, and now we have to look and see if the particular loan product they're using is appropriate for what they'd like to do. Whereas if they had started in the manner that you just recommended, they can avoid that sort of extra headache for themselves.
So we're happy to help you in that regard. We're here at Hudkins Law with 6 offices throughout New Hampshire and Vermont, also into Massachusetts. Candace and I are both licensed attorneys in New Hampshire and Massachusetts, and we look forward to helping you get to the closing table.